If you're worried about people underpricing you, often called lowballers, if you're worried about too much competition, if you're worried about somebody stealing your business, your employees, I'm telling you, you are worrying about all the wrong stuff. I don't think about that stuff. What I'm worried about is water restrictions, cities that aren't producing enough water because there's too much growth and they're not dealing with the demands of bringing enough water into their area. I'm worried about droughts. We have no control over that. I'm worried about chemical restrictions, and I'm worried about robots. Before you think I'm crazy, I'm being totally dead serious. So I've thought about this stuff for a couple years, and those are the things that I worry about. So I'm in the Texas area, and we have serious water problems. And a lot of it's done because of growth. A lot of it's because we're just flat out not getting enough rain. And I can't control that stuff. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll get back to the robot thing in a minute because I'm dead serious. But I can control my competition to some degree. I can outperform them. I can outmarket them. I can outthink them. I can outwell my customers. I can outperform them. I can do all kinds of things. I have control over that. I cannot control the weather. I can't control the city if they're crazy. I can't control too much growth in my marketplace and not enough spending to bring water to my area. Can't control that. I can't control if eventually we're going to limit chemical usage from a fertilization and weed control standpoint, and that's going to change pest control or lawn care as I know it. I have no real control over that. And eventually, I am 100% positive, convinced, you cannot persuade me otherwise, that eventually I will not need guys mowing lawns. They will be mowed by robots. I am positive. We are going to have self-driving cars. We are going to have something mowing our lawns, and it's not going to be guys pushing lawnmowers, just like we're not going to be vacuuming our carpet at some point. And if you think that's crazy, you should be ridiculously aware of how fast technology is moving. Things are moving so fast. I live in the technology world, and I think about this stuff, and I'm very aware of the 3D printing and all of the other things that are coming that are going to change everything. And I am certain that my business will not be what it is in 10 years. I'm positive, especially in 20. And so the point of all of this is, I think that we all must be ridiculously aware of what's around the corner. So many of us start our businesses and just kind of go through the motions, but this is not the 60s. I mean, things are moving fast and they're changing, and the pace at which things are changing is speeding up. Everything's changed. I talked to guys that sold their businesses for huge amounts of money in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the profit margins they were making in their business and commercial, they're not around anymore. They don't exist. Those margins don't exist, therefore you can't sell your business at those margins. None of this is to say that you shouldn't be in this business. None of this is to be negative. You've got this problem in every industry. I don't think our industry is going away, but there's a lot of industries that are going to be gone. And just think about all the industries that are gone that were around 10 years ago. Think about all the stores that were really popular that are gone or barely making it now. And it's all due to technology. And if you're not on top of this stuff and you're not aware of it, if you stick your head in the sand and say, you know what, that's silly. There's no way that robots are eventually going to mow lawns. It's impossible. How could they possibly weed eat? How could they possibly edge concrete? How could they possibly take into account all the things that I think about when I'm mowing a lawn? You better, I'm serious, you better accept it because it's coming. And so the positive on this is, and the reason I thought to record this video is it's something I've thought about for several years. And but more than that, it's because I keep getting all these questions, and they're always negative. Like, there's this problem, there's that problem. I think this is going to happen. The world's going to end. I was reading this news article the other day, and it said this about the economy. I was reading this the other day, and it said that, this is going to happen, and that China's going to take over the world, and blah, 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 blah. And man, that stuff will just wear you out. And you've got to ignore that stuff. But at the same time, you need to be aware of the reality of what's going on, what's changing in technology, what's changing in business, what's changing in your customers' tastes and likes and wants. Because if you become a veteran player in your market and you've been in the business for 15 years and you start to become apathetic, and some young guy comes around and he's really paying attention to what customers want now and where customers are buying and what they're watching and what they're paying attention to, and you're not paying attention to that stuff, you've given him an opportunity to get a foothold in your market and eventually to come in and take away your customers and eventually to be bigger than you are, just like you did to the guys before you. And so as you mature in your business, pay really close attention to what's coming. And it doesn't have to be something as crazy and dramatic as eventually we're not going to be hiring guys to push mowers. It could be something simple like the shift in software technology. It could be something simple like the shift in phone technology. It could be something simple like going from chemicals to organics and starting to learn that stuff now. It could be anything. And I'm just saying be super aware of this stuff, because if you are, and you're aware, you will years ahead of time start making little transitions in your business so that you're not caught off guard. And just as exciting as that, you'll be prepared for opportunity. So for example, I'm a big believer in putting a big amounts of money in the bank. I don't like debt. So I believe that when my competitors that have a lot of debt go through another economic hard time, which is coming, I don't know if it's going to be in a year or it's going to be in 8 years, we will have another downturn. Worse than what we're living through right now, if you think we're still living through a downturn, but absolutely worse than 2008. And if you're not in a position where you have some cash, where you're not totally strapped, then you're going to get hurt and you're going to get wiped out like some guys got wiped out, or your business will have to pull back 30 or 40%. Whereas if you're thinking ahead and you're thinking about this stuff and you're saying, you know what, about every 7 years, economy seems to go through a cycle. I think I'm going to stash some money for the next opportunity. When everybody's closing up shop, I'm out there marketing. It's that kind. That's the whole point of this video. I threw a lot of things at you, but my whole point here is really think about where things are going. Think about what you could do different than others. Think about what the world might look like and realize that, man, technology is getting faster and faster and faster. And what might change that I'm not expecting? I also think legislation change is speeding up. I could be wrong on that. I've only been alive for so long. Maybe it's always been this way, but in my perspective, for however many years now I've been paying attention, 20 years I've been paying attention to politic type stuff, it sure feels to me that legislative changes are going faster and faster. I know it feels like they actually accomplished zero in Washington, but it still also feels like there's more stuff being legislated all the time, and that's going to have an effect on our industry. It's going to have an effect on all industries. So be aware. And it's for the negative and for the positive stuff that if you capitalize on opportunity, you'll be really successful because of it. Good luck.